two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Dante. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Dante. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actors to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these stories. First, politics. Northern Group oppose regional government bill. And on minimum wage, strike continues till review is done, NLC says. On development, President Tinubu commissions expressway, commends Wike. On minimum wage again, Ababie urges federal government to continue paying 35,000 naira. On elections, IPAC wants independent body to appoint INEC chairman. And on Labour Party, Obedient Movement disowns decision to establish directorate. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we'll delve right into the show.
Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
no matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Dante. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody wants to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me, do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You know electrician.
Your electrician?
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want to pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You know you said you know they behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Two lights. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what thing are you for? Come out for home my motor. I better change that for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country. Brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets.
I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
Hey? So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical. Madam,
water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink them.
Where you collect that water, drink them.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, you drink them now. At the sell plantain, I go come put on for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator. She said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you.
No matter how.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Barrister Haya King, a legal practitioner and human rights crusade advocate. Good morning, Barrister Haya King.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here today.
Same here, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And on to the stories. Some northern media influencers, including Arewa Twitter, have taken to social media to vehemently oppose the bill proposing regional government in Nigeria. Correspondent had earlier reported that part of the draft bill circulating on social media, seen by our correspondent, is titled A Bill for an Act to Substitute the Annexure to Decree 24 of 1999 with a new governance model for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A bill proposing a return to regional government in Nigeria is before the National Assembly and is expected to be passed into law before October 1st, 2024. What is your immediate reaction to this, Barrister Haya King?
Well, you see, in Nigeria, we have agents of destruction, and we have agents of that are usually against progress. We have people like that. Their stock in trade is to make sure nothing works. Before independent and immediately after independence, until people like Agri came to destroy what we had as a regional government. We had regional government which enabled us to develop at our pace, which enabled us to do things on our own, which enabled us to be actually true, to have actually true federalism. Because before 1966, that Adironsi came and with his obnoxious, I think it was Decree 4 or Decree 2, I've forgotten the name of the decree, where he now centralized everything, because it was Adironsi that destroyed that structure. It was Adironsi that destroyed it. And when Gowon took over 6 months later, Gowon discovered that he favors them, he favors the North, and they maintained it till today.
for me, I don't
see anything wrong with it. But again, you know that in Nigeria, politicians do everything they do is politics, and I have always said, Nigeria.
When Nigerians talk about politics, they are talking about lies. And Nigerian politicians, they don't do what is legal, they don't do what is right, they don't do what is moral, they don't do what is constitutional. They do only what is political. And usually, what is political is usually lies, is usually anti-constitution, is usually against the morals, usually not right. That is actually what they do. But if this amendment sincerely is to really move Nigeria forward, I don't see anything wrong with it. But if it is politically motivated, that is my problem. Then if the Arewa Consultative, whatever they call themselves, they are doing this just because of selfishness, then the National Assembly should go on and make sure they do it. But if you look at it regionally, regional government gave us development. Regional government helped Nigeria to develop. Most of the things we had, most of the developments we had was as a result of regional government. Regional government is semi-autonomy. That's the meaning. Semi-autonomy. Every region will go back and begin to look for what they can bring to the table, what they can do in their respective states to develop, what they can, their natural resources, because oil has made everybody useless, made us poorer, made us no more hard work. We just sit down, every governor sits down in his state, every month he goes and collects allocation. For me, where is that done? That is part of the problem of Nigeria. Every governor sits down in their respective state every month, even those that have the oil. They don't and have the oil and have other sources of revenue. They don't even look at it anymore. Who looks at agriculture? Nobody looks at agriculture. Nobody looks at solid mineral. Nobody looks at other things. Nobody looks at any other thing. Oh, at the end of the month, go to federal government gives you 3 billion, 300 billion, whatever. You now come and share, and that's what we are doing. He made us lazy. But if we go to regional government, where every region go back and look for what you have, develop it, bring it up, you see that will be richer. Nigeria will be better for it. So, and I will not be surprised if those that I said, if they are doing it sincerely, is a good one. Taken from the examples I have just cited, when we had regional government, we developed more. We are better off. That's what I'm saying. But if it is politically motivated, like I told you, that Nigerian politicians, they don't do what is right, what is legal, what is constitutional, what is moral, they only do what is political, which is lies, against moral, against constitution, and all that. Now, if all things being equal, it will be a good one. Okay. If you remember, the North developed with granite, the West developed with cocoa, and the East with coal, when they had coal. Coal is still relevant today. You can still use coal, but today the coal is abandoned at Enugu. Agriculture is abandoned. Cocoa is abandoned. Granite is abandoned. Those things can be. Does it mean nobody eats cocoa anymore? I drank coffee this morning. And coffee is produced from cocoa. I ate granite yesterday, and granite is still relevant. So is it that granite is no longer relevant? Is it that cocoa is no longer relevant? Is it that coal is no longer relevant? Is it that iron ore we have at the Benue Axis, is it that it's no longer relevant? But we abandoned all of them, and everybody is looking at oil. Everybody is looking at oil. Let me tell you, oil is becoming irrelevant. If you go to Europe, you all of you know what I'm talking about. You go to Europe, all of you go to Europe. If 10 cars pass, 5 is electric. No. In fact, presently all their trains are electric. All their monorails or tram, some of them call them train or tram. They are electric. Both their fast train, their local train, buses, they are big long buses. They are all electric. Right. The only cars that are still using petrol are the small cars. But if 5 Mercedes or 5 Toyota passes you, 5 is electric. You know. So oil will soon become irrelevant, but not completely irrelevant, because there are other byproducts from oil. But even Nigeria, we don't make use of these byproducts. We just go take petroleum, even diesel, even kerosene. We don't take. We just take only petrol, and we throw these other ones away. Not even in Nigeria. We take them abroad to refine, and these other countries will take all the byproducts and give you only petrol. for me, it's a lazy man way of doing things.
All right,
if we go back to regional, it will make us, it will give us more sense of belonging. If through they are sincere about it.
All right, Barrister, you had concerns around the motive behind the statement.
Yeah.
You also had concerns about the stock of politicians we have right now. You know, now the question would be, when you talked about the politicians then that we had under regional government in Nigeria, would you say is the same stock of politicians now? That's the question. You know why I ask you? Because if they are not the same stock of politicians and we move to regional government, do you think it will be a solution? Because it's still the same, it's going to be the same people who will evolve and still move into transition into regional government. If you recall, a lot of states have been underdeveloped, even though the states themselves do enjoy internally generated revenue as well as allocation.
The only internally generated revenue that they are interested in is a tasking of the people. They don't do anything. They don't do any business. They don't do any venture that generate money. Just tax, this, tax. That's what they do. Collecting money from stores and all that. They don't do anything.
Building on what you just said now, the taxing and all that is by the politicians and government.
Yeah.
Now the question is, if Nigeria transitions to regional government and is still the same politicians, how is it going to change anything?
I think the first thing to do is to change orientation. You know, let me answer
of the citizens or of the politicians.
Everybody. Let me say this: the crop of politicians we had those days are better than what we have today. What we have today are never do wells, nincompoops, people failures. That's what we have today. That's the truth about it, from down to up. All of them never do well, nincompoops, shenanigans, wayward people that they never achieved anything in their life. They just saw politics as another way of making an income, making a living. That is actually the truth. Let me tell you, go and look at all the crop of politicians we have in 1999. They were doing nothing. All of them. Obasanjo down the line. They failed in their businesses. Obasanjo was in prison. Otafam had failed, and he was just brought from prison. Check all of them. If Obasanjo was doing something like somebody like that took a lot of money from Nigeria, like T.Y. Danjuma, had companies, had a die consult, had this, had that, had shipping lines, he wouldn't have come back to do politics. But failure. I know one of them that time he was telling me, but we could go join this party when they were forming PDP in 1998. I said, but leave these people.
Don't we have governors who are already wealthy before taking up?
They are very like 1% or 2% out of. They are just coming in.
Have they done well?
They are just coming in gradually. But the other ones that we are there, all of them that were there in 1999, they were not doing well, because people that were doing well refused to go. People like us, I said I won't go, that the military was not leaving. I didn't believe Abdul was going to hand over government. I never believed it. I said no, I have 1 year. The man handed over less than 1 year. I said I didn't believe that man. So the people that took the chances, we are wasters, people that didn't have anything to do. So okay, we could just follow. It was like the story in Things Fall Apart. You remember Things Fall Apart when Okonkwo said, I'm sending my son to the white man. The useless boy. That was what he sent to the white man, so that they will flog him. And he told him, he said, look, if they share good thing, bring. But if they share bad one, don't bring back. And the boy went there, and that was the genesis of the book, the Man of the People. The boy went there, followed the white man, went abroad, came back as a hero. So that was what happened in 1999. So most of them were waste people. If I begin to mention names, I will tell you what they were doing. Go and check some of them bank account. They didn't have 100,000. But today they are billionaires, they are governors and vice presidential, whatever. They are doing a lot now. So they grip the system, held the system till today. They are still there. That is the people that are holding Nigeria at the jokola, because they made a lot of money. So by 2003, when people saw that, this thing not true, they don't hand over, make we come in. That was when they now formed the cult group. The cult groups in Nigeria were formed in 2002, towards 2003 election, to stop people from coming in. So it's just now the people we are talking about, they are trying to come in a little. But what I'm trying to say is that the people we had that time were people that came up. Go and look at Awolowo. Awolowo started dreaming to become a politician in 1942 where he wrote a letter. There's a famous letter that is on the internet now. He wrote that letter in 1942. And he told the man he wanted to go to England. He wanted to borrow money, you know. He wanted to go to England and study law and come back. He wanted to be a journalist. He wanted to be a politician. I was say 40-something before he became a politician in 50-something. So these are people that dreamt to become politicians. But these ones are accidental politicians. He come. Now you go for House of Rep this year. Oh, no. Now, come on, go. I go buy phone for you. You go win. Come. And you win. Now you go for governor. Come. You go. You win. That's what has been happening in Nigeria. We have never had the right people that have ambition, people that have dreams to change things. They say, okay, if I come, I will make power available. If I come, I will make road. At least from here to Abuja, you will drive closing your eyes. Not really closing your eyes, but you know you can drive abroad. You just put it on cruise. And the car will just be going. Just say like this. And the car will just be going and take you to wherever you want to go. So that is what is lacking in Nigeria. We lack that crop. Look at Zeke. Let me tell you something about Zeke. Zeke was the person that formed ACB, African Continental Bank. When Zeke formed it, when Zeke established that bank, it was like a personal business. When he discovered that they were about to discover, he gave it out to the state. He ran away. He gave it out to the state. But today, politicians will openly, brazenly, boldly steal money, build company, build things. You will be seeing it. You will be seeing it. And nothing, tell you, nothing will happen. And nothing will happen. Nothing happening. Now, if we go to regional, and I'm coming to that. No, it's not. It may not really be the same. It may not really be the same. You know, when we go to regional, for instance, it will make some state governors to begin to go and look inward for resources that they have in their plate to generate something to know that. You see, let me tell you, the Bible says.
But you've talked about state governors multi-taxing people.
No, some of them will no longer multi-tax again. Federal government is even doing that right now. That's what federal government is also doing now, taxing people. You wake up one morning, you put tax on this one. You wake up one morning, you put tax on this one. You wake up one morning, and people are suffering and dying. Now, if we go to regional government, you now know that there is no hamper from Abuja to share anymore. For instance, you will go back home and begin to look at what you can do, the resources. For instance, Enugu has coal. Coal may not be relevant again to drive a train, but it is relevant to generate electricity. River State, for instance, we have water. We have arable land where we can plant. River State, even with the devastation we have from oil pollution over the years, we still have this place now, this building. If you break this ground and put yam, it will germinate. Big one. You don't need fertilizer. Are we doing that? We're no longer doing that. Then the north, they will go back and look at granite. Granite you can export. Export and make billions, trillions of naira and dollars. You go back to the west again, they go back to cocoa again. There are a lot of, what is Israel surviving on? Agriculture, vegetables. Go and check Israel. What are they surviving on? What about Brazil? Brazil is a rocky place, but they are surviving. Anybody can survive. I think one of the problems we have is that some states or some part of the country think, oh, if you separate Nigeria, if you go regional government, we will not survive. You will survive. Niger is surviving. Right. Nigerian Republic is surviving. There's nobody that will not survive on earth. There's no place you will. What is Germany doing? Germany, for instance, now. Germany is just technology. Manufacturing watches, manufacturing everything in Germany is technology, and they are selling it and making a lot of money. Some company will come and say, German, give us engine. German will produce engine for them. Give us the brain box of this. German will produce brain box and give to them. Right. And they're making money, and they are living big. Okay. So it is the Bible says that I will make a way where there seems to be no way. It's only when the governors look and see that there is no other way, they will not sit down with the cabinet and say, come. What do we do? What do we do? What do we have in this state? They'll begin to think. Now they don't think. They only go to Abuja to collect money, and they collect this money, they share this money. That is the problem. So I think sincerely, if the regional government helped us in the past, if we go there sincerely, it will also enable every. Are you aware that there is a crude oil in the north? Right. There is oil in the north. Okay. Who says there's no oil? There's crude oil. The best oil, if you are not aware. Let me tell you, there's crude. Let them challenge me and allow me. Let me bring seismic engineers, bring people. Let us go and search for oil. There is oil in the north. Now, look at it. There is oil in southern Nigeria. Now, the whole place where you have the best oil is in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, and those places are what? Desert land. And you think our northern desert land will not have oil? Who told you that they don't have oil?
All right.
Who told you they don't have? Everybody's lazy. Let me tell you,
Barrister.
Jonathan, you remember, sent people there to go and prospect for oil. They kidnapped them. That stopped that project. If you remember, Jonathan sent people to go to the north to prospect for oil. They kidnapped those people and stopped it today. So there is oil in the north.
All right. All right, Barrister. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll look at minimum wage. Nigeria Labour Congress says that strike continues till the review is done. Do not go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. The POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Kasali, I hope my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you don't ready. Now just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Shebi now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody wants to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
The electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want to pay NEPA bill again, abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't use you don't they behave like tea, all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change for your motor? What you change for?
Two lights. Repair gauge. Speedometer.
For what now? You for come over home my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. Do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make I no buy them. Make I show you something. What? What in be this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make I ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink them.
Where you collect that water, drink them.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish. I don't drink.
We can drink them now. I dey sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
You condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the Tonte. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you not ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you not read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? Eh? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
The electrician?
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you no good now. You don't use you don't they behave like all these stiff people.
What you change from your motor? What you change from?
Full light. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what you now? You for come out of my motor. I bet you identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make I no buy them. Make I show you something. What? What in be this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make I ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Madam, water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
I collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, can drink am now. I dey sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe ko. That one I talk and now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is George Chinda, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. George.
Morning, Chairman.
And welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you very much.
All right. And on to the story. The Nigerian Labour Congress has disclosed that the ongoing nationwide strike will continue despite the agreement signed with the federal government at Monday's meeting. The Congress, in a post on X on Tuesday, said the industrial action, which has grounded the nation's economy, will continue until Tuesday's meeting of organs of the Union, where all resolutions of Monday's meeting are expected to be reviewed. They said, until we hear from our organs at our meeting scheduled for today, June 4, we are still on the strike. Reports have it that after a 6-hour meeting with the leadership of the organized labor in Abuja, the federal government expressed the commitment of President Bola Tinubu to raising the 60,000 naira offered as the minimum wage. Mr. George, what is your immediate reaction to this?
Well, I would say that the labor union all over the world, it is their right to embark on a strike when they find out that things are not going their way. if you look at what the cost of living is in Nigeria today, the previous minimum wage, which was 35,000, is nothing, you know.
Some of them didn't pay. Some states never paid, though.
It's nothing to write home about. It really cannot, you know, lead any family. Like one of my friends will say, minimum wage is no longer waging with that 35,000. So, but I've always believed that dialogue will resolve whatever intractable, you know, issues that is affecting, you know, both the labor union and the federal government. It is the federal government that is paying. They know how much they are receiving as allocation. They know what the staff size is, the strength of the staff size. So they know how much they can pay. So for the president to have proposed 60,000, that is a, you know, step in the right direction. Like the labor union said, they will have to meet today and also discuss to see if that is okay.
How long is this negotiation going to take? You know, hunger does not wait. You agree with me?
I agree with you.
Poverty does not wait. Lack of education does not wait. Now, this is a situation where civil servants, Nigerians, go to work, and even from that salary, the government takes their taxes as well. Then at the end of the month, a civil servant in Nigeria who is earning minimum wage, that salary cannot fill a tank, let's say, the usual vehicle they use for e-hailing, that's a Corolla. It cannot fill it up, because to fill it up is about 40,000. So what it means is that a person in Nigeria earning minimum wage is living below, under poverty line. That is what it means. We are talking of 35,000 naira. Let's look at increased logistics transportation. We are looking at over 100% increment in food. We are looking at over 100% increment in education. We are looking at multiple taxation from the government, starting from banking transactions. We are looking at increased tariff from power. Even with the increased tariff from power, you are also considering the epileptic power supply, and people have to depend on the same fuel that is the subsidy has been removed. The fuel now that is at a ridiculously expensive price to generate power for themselves. You're talking of rent, and landlords are increasing rents, and they are basing their argument on economic hardship.
Well,
so how does that, and governments, the federal government, since last year, they are still negotiating. Make it make sense to me. They are still negotiating, considering their staff strength, considering all whatnot. But prayers are always being sent to the legislature, isn't it? How much do legislatures earn? Do not forget, with the issue of Senator Ningi that came up in the National Assembly, Nigerians became aware that according to them, ranking senators earn as much as 500 million to 1 billion in constituency projects. And yet, these are the issues. These are where our monies are going into. Let's break it down and look at the reality on ground. Why is it taking so much time to consider the citizens of the country?
I think you are dissipating emotion at this point.
I am not. I am bringing up
calm down. Let's follow it the way it should be. I agree with you. Civil servants are not the only responsibility of the government.
All right.
The government also have other responsibilities. It is not just only recurrent expenditure. They also have capital project to carry out. I agree with you. That, like I said earlier in my opening statement, that the 35,000 is no longer feasible. The president has proposed 60,000, which may not also be feasible. The Trade Union Congress and Nigeria Labour Congress had said that the strike will continue until they meet today to resolve. If that 60,000 is okay, if it is not, they will still have to go back to it. This is not enough.
The federal government said they were not.
It is discussion. It is negotiation.
They said no. They have actually raised the bar. They said they will consider above
60,000.
But they were not clear on the amount.
That is what we call negotiation. We are in this type of discussing. Federal government have increased. the Nigerian Labour Congress have said no, we still have to resolve with our people to come up. They might say, okay, pay us 150. Federal government will say, okay, 60 is not okay. Let's make it 80. They will come to a compromise at some point.
How long has this negotiation been?
To be frank with you, I think we must give the government some kind of credit with what happened yesterday. This strike began yesterday. And as of today, they are making headway. Previously, by this time, nothing, everywhere will shut down. It may even take a week or more. Sometimes they don't even agree. What that shows is that the federal government is a kind of, they understand the challenges that the people are facing. I am not a spokesman for I'm not the government image maker. But I'm trying to tell you that when it comes to negotiation, it is not just something that because you demanded for this, therefore they should give to you. And you're telling me the House of Rep, the Senate, the civil servants are not just the only responsibility for the government.
Negotiations has to be stretched to a point that the economy has to shut down. The nation
before they can respond.
Before the government will now realize that the pain of the masses on whose mandate.
Are you now saying because Labour asked for say for 500,000, the government should just leave 500,000 for minimum wage? Remember, it's minimum wage you're talking about. That's the least person in the civil service to earn that amount. So by the time you stretch it to the man that gets to the permanent secretary, you know how much that person will be earning. Look if the government has that money to pay.
Well, the government cut down costs.
Can I come in?
Yes, Barrister, please. By all
You see,
he spoke about time, like that the government has been really in this day been proactive.
Why wouldn't they be proactive when they have held them at the jocular?
I am saying
they will be proactive. Now when you are holding them at the scrotum, they'll be proactive. That is the only word they hear. That's the only thing they hear.
From the time that NLC came out to speak for civil servants and say there is need for increment to look into the wage awards of these civil servants. Let's look at it via the policies the government has expedited action upon. Do not forget the national anthem was just with the speed of light. I've never seen
leave national anthem.
No, these are the
I don't want to talk about national anthem. Don't leave national anthem. Leave national anthem.
Because now this is part of the anger of the masses.
Leave national anthem. There is nothing to add. There is no benefit. I've looked at that.
What is the government prioritizing?
Yes, you see, I completely stand with Labour. I am not mincing word. I'm not going back on it. I completely stand with Labour. If this strike will continue for the next 10 years, I don't mind. Let everywhere be grounded until they are attended to. The same government that is causing this problem, the same government is the one that now, 2 days, they are responding. They are responding because they are holding them on the spot. That is why they are responding. If the Labour did not go to this strike, they wouldn't have responded. Now look at it. The same government that will wake up, increase tariff, the same government that will wake up, remove subsidy, and you are increasing your own things. You don't want to increase my own. Look at the increment in power from 66 naira to 200 and something. And this 66 naira was before, it was like 3 years ago under Buhari. Buhari increased like 4 or 5 times. Buhari was doing it 10-10, 2020. But this one came and did it 3,000, how many thousand? 300%. From 66, 120, 180, 2 something. 400% increment in just one. And you have increased your own product, and you don't want to increase my own product. No, now, this is injustice now. It's extreme injustice. The same civil servants, you have not provided quarters for them. You have not provided accommodation. You have not provided transport. You have not provided hospital for their children. You have not provided a school for their children. Yesterday I was talking somewhere and I remembered and I recalled and I took them back to 70s. My father worked with one of the federal civil parastatals in Nigeria. We lived in staff quarters. We went to we went to staff clinic. We went to staff school. My father never paid electricity bill, and their pay was small. So government, if you really want to solve this, you are the one causing this problem. If you had not gone to increase fuel, increase tariffs, increase all manner of things, they won't be asking for what they are asking for. You would have left those things because you want to take that money. You will pay it through this way again. That is the problem. That is the challenge you are having. If you went to increase all these things to make more money, so the economy has gotten worse presently. They will also ask for more money. He who
brings home faggot-infested firewood, the lizard must come. You are the one that is increasing. You want to increase with this hand, and this hand will not. This hand will take it back from you. So you will pay them. What will 60,000 do? What will 100,000 naira do? From the electricity bill you're talking about. But if you had gone to build, for instance, like I was trying to tell you, in the 70s, my father worked in the 70s and 80s. We lived in staff quarters. I can't remember my father any day talking about house rent. Small money was being deducted from his salary. I can't remember my father talking about electricity bill. My father never bought a generator in his life. He retired in 1989. He never bought a generator. The first generator that was bought in that house was bought by me. The man never bought electricity, but bought generator. Because there was power. Every month he's been deducted from his salary. Staff quarters, staff school. So if you do this and remove these civil servants completely, when I'm talking about civil servants, I'm talking about both police, army, and navy, all the paramilitary and all that. You build quarters for them. You will transfer a policeman from here to Medugri. A policeman will go to Medugri, no accommodation. He will be sleeping at the police station. Go to Port Harcourt CCPS headquarters. You see policemen sleeping on the ground. They came on transfer. No house, no accommodation. 3 days ago, there was one on the news that some soldiers were sent to evict some policemen from their quarters in Abuja. And they told them that they want to renovate. You want to renovate quarters? You are policemen. The people that are suffering for us, dying for us. The people protecting you, politicians. Tinubu has police protecting him. Senate president have police protecting. All the governors have police protecting them. House of Assembly member, House of Rep member, Senate, all have police. And these are the policemen you are punishing. They sent soldiers to go and forcefully evict them. Those ones now mobilized and brought out their arms. I heard that the policemen had to retreat. Why would you do that to serving personnel? You have not given them, they promised that they were going to pay them compensation. Is it compensation? You should relocate them. Relocate them. When you relocate them, then you cannot do renovation. You came early morning, they say soldiers stormed their barracks. They started harassing them. They too mobilized. Thank you very much for soldiers, for the policemen that mobilized. I stand with you. Now, if we all do all that, policemen used to live in barracks. They don't live they don't live where they pay 500,000 naira. If you give policemen barracks where to live, soldiers barracks where to live, navy barracks where to live, all the civil servant quarters, you would have taken a chunk of the population off the market. It will not remain those of us that are private citizens to begin to battle for their accommodation, battle for the school, battle for this, battle for that. The economy won't be the way it is. The civil servant will be asking for what they are asking for. A civil servant that knows that his house is paid for, his children's school fees is paid for, small money deducted from his salary, call it subsidized. House is subsidized because they pay for it. My father was paying for it. I still remember that time when I saw his salary, his pay slip. I saw it the other day. I was just laughing. 1 naira 50 kobo. 1 naira 50 kobo. No, it was up to one. Is it 1 naira 50 kobo or so was deducted? Now the man knows that accommodation is subsidized. Education of his children subsidized, hospital subsidized, and you give him 60,000 naira, the man will be okay. The man will not be that it's only for food. The man will somehow be satisfied. Transport subsidized. The policemen usually live close to their barracks. Army live close to the barracks. You don't see them mixing up with the bloody civilians. This is the solution to some of this problem. The problem is caused by government. You are the one increasing tariff. Why won't people ask for more money? The man that was paying electricity 66 naira or 66,000 will now pay 225,000. That's the meaning. Because it's going to be 4 times his salary. And you want the man to still take 35,000, 60,000. What will 60,000 naira do? Yesterday, do you know how much fuel I bought? I bought for 50,000 yesterday. 50,000. House, I bought 30. The car, I bought 20 because I did not go to work. I did not go to work. If I had gone to work yesterday, I would buy another one for the office, 20,000, 70. Yesterday, I bought 50,000 naira for yesterday night. That's what I bought. I bought yesterday night. And I know by today night again, I'm going to buy again 30,000 for the house, 20,000 for the car. I didn't buy for office because of strike. This strike you kept us. That is why I didn't buy for the house, for the office. So is that a country you are saying that things are working out? If you want civil servants to take care of civil servants, Tinubu, state governors, call your permanent secretary, say, how many civil servants do we have? How many policemen do we have? You begin to build. If they tell you, okay, civil servants in Nigeria, 10 million, plan to build 30 million accommodation in 5 years. State, if you have 1 million civil servants, begin to build 2 million accommodations across the 23 local governments, for instance. Build their own schools, build their own this, build their own that. That way you help. Right. That way you save money instead of this go forth and back. Labor, insist on your salary. Let them give it to you. Because, let me also tell you, this is also why we have corruption. Oh yeah, that is why corruption is first. Corruption cannot be touched. Corruption cannot be fought. That's true. Before
we get to the corruption, let's look at the monthly
look at it.
The monthly entitlements of National Assembly against the workers in Nigeria. Look
at it.
A senator monthly, his entitlement is 37.57 million naira monthly. A House of Rep member monthly 37.57 million naira. And minimum wage of Nigerian workers is 30,000 naira. Imagine. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we have not put into consideration monies for constituency projects that are never executed. What is the way forward? Because when the government says, like George here made a very valid point when he said that the government has to consider the number of workers the government pays monthly. Right?
I agree.
They have to consider, it's a very realistic point.
I agree.
And of course, it should be done. But however, in a bit to consider that, is it not right to cut down cost of governance?
Definitely. Starting from the House of Assembly, National Assembly members. Agree.
Down to legislature.
Agree.
And the states.
Yeah.
And councils.
Completely.
As well.
Are they not human beings?
Let's look at
Are they not Nigerians?
The question is, let's be practical. NLC TUC has gone on strike. The economy of the nation has come to a halt.
Yes.
The nation itself has come to a halt.
Yeah.
What it means invariably is Nigeria is settling on the shoulders of the civil servants.
Yeah.
Right? If Nigeria is settling on the shoulders of the civil servants, and like you said, the lack of proper emolument could be one of the reasons for this endemic corruption.
Yeah.
What is the way forward? If the government is considering all these things, why not look, if they are so concerned about the welfare of the citizens, why not look at cutting down cost of governance and saving some monies in order to balance out whatever extra that they have to pay the civil servants?
Anybody.
And again, is this a way of eroding, of weaponizing poverty in Nigeria? One. And secondly, is this also a way of eroding the middle class? Of course, the middle class.
Yeah, we don't have middle class anymore. We don't have.
Do we even have a middle class?
We don't have. It's either you are here, or you are there.
Just periscope on this before I move over to Mr. George.
Now, the problem, that solution, the problem, like I said, is government. Government is the problem. If government, for instance, like I have proposed, takes care of their civil servants and public servants. When I mean public servants, the military and paramilitary, if anybody working in government, you make sure you provide for them. You make sure you take care of them in terms of providing of some of these things that they need to buy with this 60,000 you are proposing. So when you take care of most of them, it's not something that will be done in a day. It's not something that will be done within 4 years of a government. One government can start it and say, look, I want to provide housing. We have a total of 20 million civil servants. I'm just exaggerating. I know they are not up to that. And I will provide 40 million housing across Nigeria. And they start doing it 1 year, 2 years. Another government comes, continues on it and all that and provides it. But the problem is that most time, these politicians, they do what is unconstitutional. They do what is illegal. They do what is morally wrong. They do what is wrong. They don't do anything. They only do what is political. And most time, what is political is usually very anti-constitution, anti-people. Otherwise, why would a government wake up one day just because you want to generate money? Let me tell you the truth. Government does not even have enough money. They can't even pay this minimum wage. I think they're asking for 400,000. That is the truth about it. They can't. If they pay it, they won't run government. I know. I understand that.
400,000 is realistic.
Yeah.
It's not realistic, actually.
Bros, my dear sister, my dear, 400,000 will not even help them. If you even 400,000, I said I bought first at 50,000. Imagine what I will buy within this month.
It's not also realistic to pay.
Nothing is not realistic. Oh. Nothing is not realistic. But the truth is that okay, let's calculate. Let's calculate. 400,000 naira. Okay, sorry, I'm coming. 400,000 naira. How much is it in converted to dollar? Converted to dollar. A dollar in Europe. Minimum wage in Europe, let me use Germany for instance. Minimum wage in Germany is 400 euro. 1,000 euro. 1,000 euro. 1,000 euro. How much is that? How much is that?
One of the moves by the CBN right now is to discourage dollarization of the economy.
How can they do that? It's not possible.
Let's have this conversation around Naira.
Okay. Around Naira.
We don't dollarize our economy.
Around Naira. 400 naira they are asking for is about 200 and something.
400,000.
400,000 I mean to say is about 200 and something dollars. 250, 200, 250. No, I'm just saying too because all of them like to compare with dollars and all that. In Europe they pay so much. In Europe it's 200 and something. I agree. 300, 400. But when you convert it to our money. You see what 400 is nothing. 400,000 naira is nothing. I'm not saying that they should be paid 400,000 naira. Like what I have already said, if you pay them, government will not be able to run government. That is why you see them looking for where to task instead of to go and do business.
Right.
All of Nigeria's business have collapsed. Check all their businesses, even the ones that was thriving. People have forgotten. With this telecom, which is a very big business all over the world now, is $1 billion business. Nigeria had one line. Where is it? When we launched Nigeria, remember again, let me tell you, 2001, 2002, we launched 0802 Econet, 0803 MTN, 0805 Glo. There was a 0804. Where is it? That was Nigeria's trunk. That was Nigeria's line. Dead. 0804, if you remember. Oh, you don't know? Nitel now. 0804 was Nitel. Why couldn't we capitalize? Look at all the people that started that in their billionaires, they are world-class billionaires. Our own 0804 died. 0804 was our line. 0804 was Nigeria's line, telecom, Nitel line. They died. So why can't we do things like that and revive those things? And all you want to do is to tax people telling me you are removing subsidy. How can you remove subsidy when you don't refine fuel? You go to buy, you say I shouldn't talk about dollar, but you buy petroleum product with dollar. How can you? I'm coming, man. Even the one we are selling now is being subsidized. If you don't subsidize it, you will buy a liter of fuel for 1,500 because to import a liter of fuel is more than $1. Okay. To bring it to Nigeria is more than $1. So you pay more than that. So they are still subsidizing from the back. Why lie to the public? Why lie to Nigerians? Okay. Nigeria, let me tell you, land with this one. In 1980, Nigeria had 4 refineries. We were 50 million. 1980, check it, statistics. 4 refineries. 2 in Port Harcourt, 2 in the south, 1 in Kaduna, 1 in, where again? Warri. 4 refineries. 750 million Nigerians. That is 12.5 million per refinery. Rewind 44 years down the line. How many refineries do we have? We are 200 million. How many? And you tell me you cannot subsidize the fuel? You must subsidize. There's nothing you can do about it. Right. At that same time, Kuwait had 2 refineries or 1 refinery. Today they have 21 refineries. And that is where we take our crude to go and refine. And you are telling me it's a country that is planning to progress? Progress to where? Progress to where? Presently now, we are still battling with reviving the old refinery. What I'm saying is that we are not moving forward. We can't move forward. There is no, whether you increase it, let me tell you, after 1 year, we'll come back to this salary increment again. Because government, their strategies are also looking at where they will task again. They are looking at where they will ask for us to pay more money. And once they do that again, the civil servant will wake up again and ask for more money.
All right. Mr. George.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you wanted to say something about the 400,000 being very unrealistic. You wanted to react to that.
400,000 as a minimum wage is not realistic today. It is not. Let's get something straight. Minimum wage they are talking about is not the salary of the permanent secretary. It's not the salary of the director. The least, the very least, not even the level 8 step 1. The very least. I'm talking about people, some of them did not even attend primary school. You could see a gateman who cannot even read and write, and you want to pay him such amount of money. That is the least of it. So by the time you get to the permanent secretary, you might be paying that person over 3 million naira, over 4 million naira. How sustainable is this? Like he said, Nigeria is not even producing as a country. So that is not, there is no way you can go around it and achieve it. But I agree that the minimum wage today, 35,000, is nothing to write home about. It cannot do anything for anybody. Therefore, the negotiation is ongoing. They might even increase it to up to 80,000, which I think...
80,000 fair for you? Listen,
it's a step in the right direction. It's something that is work in progress. It's work in progress. It's work in progress. After all, it's just, if you look at the number of these civil servants we are talking about, are they even up to 2 to 3% of the total population of Nigeria? Though the multiplier effect is there because those people equally have families. So it will trickle down to their families. I agree with you. Talking about the politicians, somebody trying to equate the senators, the House of Rep, to minimum wage earners, those people have staff they employ that also help them to ensure that they carry out their responsibility in the National Assembly.
How many times do they sit in a month?
Listen.
As against, these are things
wait
we
now.
have to consider.
There are some things you have to put in. The senator will have to travel from here to Abuja, from Abuja to this in the course of his work. How many times do this?
How many times?
I'm not trying to defend. Listen. These people are not of the same class. There's no way you want to begin to equate what they earn
and
there.
that is why you can justify that.
But they buy from the same market. They buy from the same market. They buy from the same market. Live in the same neighborhood.
Even in the civil service work, the workforce, the permanent secretary, and the least person, or equally buy from the same market. So why the disparity in the pay? Why do not understand
education?
That is the same thing at the level as a senator. You expect the senator to be earning something.
In some countries, senators don't even earn anything. They come there, it's service to the nation. Some country, Google it. They don't earn anything. It's a service.
Choma, I was good. Unfortunately, I didn't contribute much in the first topic. Yes. But I think restructuring Nigeria will help this nation to develop.
Thank you.
Regionalism will actually help us. It will help us because this presidential system we are running makes government to be more costly. If you go to UK...
Is it the people in governance that choose to make it costly? Because of the flamboyant way of governance in the country?
No, even you cannot compare government in the US and in UK because of the system of government. If you go to UK, the parliamentarian system, the prime minister is just first amongst equals. Yeah. He's a parliamentarian that was elected by his people. So it is when they get to that place, because their party won majority in the House, they now elect among themselves. So the man can easily be seen. If there's any issue, any policy that is coming up, he'll be queried in the House, in the Parliament. Yeah. You see, even from his own party, people will, this thing will not work, they will query him. But here, the president is
almighty.
Is like, secluded from the people. So sometimes they do not even feel the effect of what the ordinary people in the street, suffers. But again, I want to say this. Yes, Nigeria has removed, fuel subsidy. Because even previously, like I said earlier, the government of Jonathan, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was the coordinating minister of the economy, said if subsidy was not removed, at some point, this country will cripple. Because the money that was being paid to subsidize the petroleum product was, costing the nation, a lot of things. When it comes to capital projects, the country was not being able to achieve that. My brother here was talking about building houses for the civil servant. From where would this money come from? If all the money is, put into recurrent expenditure. When you come to budgetary allocation, you have capital expenditure, you have recurrent, which is the one you use in paying salaries and overhead and things like that. The capital is the one they use. Where would they get money to begin to build all these things if they carry all of if all the money is taken into paying the salaries?
In your opinion, they shouldn't cut cost of governance. It won't help.
No, there's no reasonable person that will say cost of governance.
When you talked about the governor, when I mentioned, for example, their travels and all that, you would agree with me. I think it was sometime last year, the COP28, that nations had to travel to Dubai.
Okay.
You recall the consternation with which Nigerians were aghast at the number. At that time, you know, when the president took over the realms of power, one of the things he cried out about was the economy, and that Nigeria was neck deep in debt. And, you know, there were discussions from every quarter on how to salvage the economy. That was when Nigeria chose to go to COP28 with how many people as entourage, if you recall?
Choma,
and
I want to say something.
how many billion did Nigeria come out later to say they spent on that COP28?
I want to say something.
So what I'm saying is, in essence, is I want you to look at cutting down cost of governance, because when you're talking about recurrent expenditure, granted, I understand your opinion, your point. The minimum wage you're talking about is the least payment. So by the time you aggregate it down to the director of, you know, it's going to be a lot. Agreed. But the truth remains.
But how many are there, these civil servants? How many?
Still the same economy. You would agree with me that a lot of Nigerians currently are living not even on poverty line, far below.
Not below, very far.
Very far below poverty line, like they are in oblivion.
I quite agree with you.
Some stay one day, no food. Some stay one day, no food.
What do you suggest?
2 days, no food.
I agree with you.
Because it's a serious situation.
Yes, I agree with you that the cost of governance should be cut down. I was speaking with him off the camera earlier that leadership has a lot of responsibility to drive the nation. If the president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, comes out to make a pronouncement that I, as a president, the #1 citizen, hereby reduces this and that, it will send positive signals across.
Agree.
Do you see that happening?
I wouldn't know because I'm not Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that is why the presidential system of government itself is very costly.
Don't you think he must have been given that advice?
The presidential system of government itself is very costly because there are a lot of the money that is being earmarked for the office of the president is not just for the man himself.
I know.
There are a lot of persons, staffs here and there. There are people who you don't see them, they work behind the scene, but they are heavily paid. And you cannot compromise such people because the services they render is so important that any form of trying to compromise it will affect the output of the president. So the presidential system itself is an issue.
So for you,
it's an issue. I agree that the system of government should change. Yes, it should change. But then the president can still come to say, okay, it starts with me. As the #1 citizen, I want to cut down. If I'm earning 1 naira, I want to start earning 50 kobo. You, my staff, if you're earning 50 kobo, you start earning 25 kobo. He can do that. It is not just by mere word of mouth. He can begin to lobby the assembly members, the National Assembly members, so that it becomes a law. Because some of these salaries are, as a result of law, not just something. Yeah. So it becomes a law where they will go there and debate this matter, so that part of the money that will be, that will be saved from there will go back, revert back to the economy, which can be used to settle some of these issues of capital project. He talked about, building houses. Yes. For all those money can be, So, but if the president have not seen it from that angle, do you expect the senator? These are people who have, funded from the first line charge. They have their own money coming from the federation account directly because it's a separate arm of government. So even Tinubu cannot tell the National Assembly, what they can earn. It is something that they discuss among themselves as National Assembly, their leadership.
No. Now, with what, just to
very quickly,
yes, to what he just said, that way too, if cost of governance is cut down, especially among these lawmakers and all of that, some of them will leave. The right people that have vision.
Politics will become less interesting.
Yeah, just like you have teachers. A lot of people doesn't want to be teachers. A lot of them will leave, and the real people that have passion for Nigeria may come in. Now, let me tell you, for the 4 years Donald Trump ruled America, he never collected salary. He said, well, they now told him no. Go and find out. They said you must take $1. So Donald Trump was taking $1 for the 4 years every month. They said, no, you must take something. America insisted. So Donald was collecting $1 every month for the 4 years. Go and check. So things like what you said, if our president is very rich already now. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like I'm told, he's so rich. So even if he says, I don't want to earn salary again, it will send a very big signal. I agree with you completely. That's what I'm trying to say. And that way, if you make the political offices no longer attractive, come and serve Nigeria, also, people will run away. They will run. Then the right people will now come and Nigeria will change.
But the way Nigeria is, do you even see that happening? You were laughing.
Some
when
countries
you
are some countries are already doing it. People are the parliament. People in parliament is part-time job. It's not a full-time job. I think when I travel, one of the times I traveled, I was in the train. They are showing me the mayor. They were showing me the mayor in the train. All of us we are holding our hand like this. The train was moving. They were showing me at him. Nobody recognizes you. They drive their bicycle, they move. They are normal human beings. You mess up, you go to prison. Nothing like say go come. I didn't see Sarin blow one.
I was saying something. The system of government, the system of government that we adopted is the reason why we're having this kind of country today. Even though it's working in other places, like he said, in 1998, when Abdul Salami was to leave, so many persons, so many right-thinking men and women felt that this thing was not going to work.
Exactly.
So they stayed back. To some criminal elements,
entered,
so to speak.
That's the true
and
problem.
some other good persons also took advantage of the situation. And they started. So before you know, these people have caged and consolidated on power. I agree with him. But that is not to say that Nigeria cannot change. Nigeria can change. Nigeria can change. Even we, the citizens, our docility is affecting, you know, the way the country is being run. If just that way, maybe I will say because of the different tongues that we speak. If we come with one mind as one people, and just look at just 2 days now, the NLC shut down. It has forced the government to negotiate. Imagine people come out on the streets just 2 days. You granted air flights. You granted the air flight. You granted everywhere, and the government, because if these things are not working, even them will not be comfortable in their offices.
No money.
You understand? So the country can actually work, but I believe that this system of government makes the president too powerful, excess power, and you don't easily see him. You don't easily see him. Go to UK, you see the prime minister goes to the parliament, and you see issues. They will start arguing. You know, they fight in parliament. They fight in parliament. So he's like just first among equals. But here to see the president, my dear sister.
Have you seen local government chairman?
The president is riding on a very high horse that sometimes he doesn't even understand what the ordinary people. He gets it by feelers, like, you know, his aides. Look at what Choma has written on social media. Look at what George has written. Look at, sometimes he might even be eating. You know, he doesn't care. He doesn't see the effect much. So the actions of the NSC sometimes bring them to reality. If this strike continues for too long, which will also affect you, affect me, including those who are at the forefront of ensuring that the strike holds, the government will sit up. But I think that the 400,000 or whatever they are asking is unrealistic, given the amount of money that
62 is unrealistic. 60, 100 is unrealistic. What will you buy with it?
No.
George was of the opinion that at least 80,000.
It's unrealistic.
Let me conclude on this. Let me conclude on this. See, I think that what the government should do is to ensure that the refineries are working, so that you don't move our oil to Holland, to Kuwait, and wherever. After refining, the people will add tariff, they will add loading costs, landing costs, all those extra this and that. At the end of the day, the thing is affecting, you know, the cost of the price of fuel.
Of course.
By the time you fix Port Harcourt refinery, Warri, Kaduna, as the case may be, and begin to refine locally, even if you are not refining to export, you refine the one that you can subsistently, that the one we can use here.
Can I give you
that this will come down? This will come down. We can get fuel at the rate of maybe a liter 400, a liter 300.
That was what we used to buy for.
No, gradually. You know, this thing is like when market forces at some point will play a role. At some, it's just a gradual thing. Yeah, over time, it might even come down.
Let me tell you. Let me just give you 2 minutes or 1 minute a brief.
I would also like you to look at diversification of the economy, because he talked about, you know, the government's going into production, producing fuel, building more refineries. You mentioned that as well. But can you do that in a minute or two?
Okay.
Diversification of economy and how it can help.
Subsidy in Nigeria is illegal. It's not recognized by law. Let me tell you the origin of subsidy. What is subsidy? Subsidy is not recognized. It's not there. It's illegal. Falana has said so. Several people, the courts have said it's not recognized. See what happened. In 1999, when these people came on board, the law provides that when Nigeria gets their crude oil every day, they sell. There is a certain percent, I think 10% or 20% ought to be kept and refined locally. That is where the subsidy comes. The government refines that one locally for local consumption, taking into statistics the number of Nigerians, what we consumed the previous day and all that. So Nigeria will be able to know, okay, if we refine 1 million barrel locally, it will be enough for Nigeria. So that was our subsidy issue. So Nigeria will refine it locally. When we refine it locally, the price will come down for us to buy. Now it was happening. By 1999, when these people came, the refineries went down. The refineries were no longer working. And nobody was able. Buhari did, Abu Salami, even Abacha did never repair our refineries. So they were going down. So when the refineries were no longer there. So what the politicians did was to say, take everything abroad. So they now take everything. They take the crude oil and sell everything. Including the one the percentage they are supposed to keep locally. So they send everything abroad. Now people will now come back, their political associate will now come back and Mr. President, what do we do now? You see, there is no oil, there is no petrol in Nigeria. It's okay, go and import. The man goes now. The man is given the license to go and bring in crude oil, go and bring in refined product, especially petrol or PMS. The guy goes abroad to refine it, buys, he now sources for where you get crude oil, sometimes from an NPC, he now buys and refines in one of the countries. He will now come and tell me, Mr. President, that thing, I cannot sell it for 65 naira. The thing, everything I did is 70 naira. I cannot sell it for that amount. It's okay. I'm going to go and sell 65. That's your 5 naira I will give you. That was the origin of subsidy. I will subsidize that thing you went to do, the petroleum product you went to import. That's the origin of subsidy. So they will say, okay, everything I did is 100 naira. Mr. President, I want to sell for 120. No, don't sell for 120. Don't sell for 120. We'll give you that money. They will now give you 20 naira. To cover your cost, you now go and give to marketers. They will now sell. Then, along the line, when Okonjo Iweala now came, they now discovered that they will give you this paper. I have defended people now, so I know. I'm telling you from point of participation. Not participation as into the crime, as knowing what is happening. They will give you paper, they call it flying contract. They will give you paper to go and import. You go. You just go, at the end of the month, you submit paper. People were arrested now. I'm not the one saying it. It was arrested. We were arrested and paraded that they never supplied anything, including NDDC. They will give you flying contract to go and bring in PMS, go and supply. You will now go and submit paper. You never supplied anything. You guys submit paper and collect millions of dollars.
All right,
that's the problem. So solution, like I have said, let's go into production. The regional government, whether regional, let me not even leave the word. Forget about regional government. Let every state go back to their state. Let every governor go back to their state and look inward. What you can use to generate money, not asking of the people, not increasing the tax for the stores. No, not that one. Go back, agriculture, cocoa, coal, columbites, iron. Go back to your state and look at what you can do to make your state rich. Right. That way, Lagos is generating, internal generation in Lagos is high. It's companies. They're not doing any business. It's companies. It's tax that they're collecting from companies. That is why Lagos is. Go and do business.
All right.
Yes, it will help us.
Thank
you so much.
It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Judge Sinda. It's a pleasure having you on Open Conversation.
Thank you very much.
All right. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. You can always follow us and stay connected on all our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
From the line across the ocean to to the land beyond the mountains. Through the Sahara, we bring